Hello and welcome back to the Coder's Legacy channel. This is part 2 of our how to scrape an e-commerce website tutorial. Alright, in the previous video we talked about the main scraping code. We created an entire Scrapy spider over here that scrapes all of the main code, all of the main information from this website. Basically what we did was for all pages in this website, for all 50 pages, we scraped all of the data for each book. Okay, these are the products in this e-commerce website, books. We scraped the title, the price, the description, and all of this data over here. Okay, we scraped all of this data, but we didn't fully complete our video. There's some concepts, some good practices, some settings that we have not discussed, and they're very important. So that's what this video is for. So let's begin. The first thing that we'll take a look at is items. Items in Scrapy are a way of grouping information. This is particularly useful when you have several things that you're scraping from a single website. We're only scraping book information. It's basically a single entity, but it's still going to be useful, especially in stuff like pipelines that we'll take a look at later in this video. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to the items.py file, and then I'm going to change this from e-commerce to book, just so that it's something more meaningful. And over here we need to define the fields. Fields are basically just normal variables. What values we're going to put inside this item, basically. I already copied this out beforehand. Okay, these are the different fields, okay, which is basically just this stuff over here. Now that we have defined this, we're going to go here and import it. Import from e-commerce, I believe. Import from e-commerce. No, wait. From e-commerce. Import. Wait. Dot items, right? Import book item. There. So now we have our book item here. We're going to go down here and first define it. Book is equal to book item. Okay. And then we're going to do book title, okay, is equal to this. And I think you can see where this is going. All right, and we need to slowly do this for the rest. And now we're done. Okay, all this information has now been entered into our book item. Now we can just remove all of this and just say yield the book. We can yield a book directly. We don't need to put in those brackets for the dictionary. Okay, we can just yield the book directly like this. Now if I run our code, let me just disable the following so that we just scan the items on the first page. It's gonna take too long otherwise. So let's just run this code and remove the old output.json file, run the new code, and just verify that everything is working okay. And there we go. Yep, it's all looking good. Okay, 20 items from the first page. Let me just scroll through all this. Alright, looks good. Alright, cool. So that's items that we've covered. The next thing that we're going to take a look at is pipelines. Pipelines are kind of related to items. That's why I did items first. Now we're going to take a look at pipelines. Okay, so this is our pipelines.py file. All right, but before that, we need to go to settings.py and enable the pipeline because it's disabled by default. And where is it? It's somewhere. I'm missing it. Here it is. Item pipelines. So just uncomment this. It's going to be here. Just uncomment it. This is the priority of the pipeline. It's useful if we have multiple pipelines. Okay, imagine we had 3. Then the priority decides which pipeline goes first. Because, oh, I forgot to explain what a pipeline is. Well, basically it's something where we get some input. Then inside the pipeline, we process that data. How we process that data is completely up to us, by the way. It's just something that we put data into, process it, and then output it. Scrapy will automatically enter everything that it scrapes into the pipeline, okay, before it yields or outputs anything. So we can perform some kind of filtration, some kind of processing within the pipeline, within the pipelines.py file to basically, process that data before outputting it. Okay, so by the way, back to this, the priority number decides which pipeline goes in first, which gets executed first. So the output of one pipeline will go to the second pipeline, and then the output of the second will go to the third, and so on. So you might think that the higher number means it's going to go first, but it's actually the reverse. If this is 200 and this is 100, this one is going to go first because the one with the lower number goes first. Okay, then the one with the higher number 200, then the one with the highest number 300. Okay, anyways, let's just remove all that and come back to our pipelines.py file. This item that you see here is basically the item that we just created. The book item that we yielded is going to be passed into this pipeline. Now what we're going to do is just print out something just to verify that everything is working okay. Let's print out the title and let me run this code. And the output should appear somewhere in the middle of all of this stuff. And come on. Alright, so where is it? This is gonna be a bit hard to verify where it is because Scrapy is printing out its own stuff. Okay, what I'm gonna have to do is say something like pipeline. Alright, and then let's try running this again. Come on, really though. It has to be here somewhere, right? Ah, here it is. Actually, there's no need to do that. See, the pipeline begins printing out stuff right before all of this, of the scrape data. This is where it is. And where else? Okay, it's still kind of hard to see, so I'm just going to go ahead and run this. Okay, and then we can verify properly that the pipeline is printing out information. I just want to see that we're getting the values, right? Once I verify this, then we can proceed further. And yeah, there we go. See, the pipeline is printing out data, and it appears that each pipeline, okay, so like one item goes into the pipeline, this gets printed out, then the item information gets printed out by the Scrapy logging system, then the next item comes into the pipeline, and so on. That's what's going on here, apparently. So what do we do here? Well, let's just remove that first. What I want to do is perform some processing, but what kind of processing might I want to perform? Well, there's actually one thing you may have noticed in the previous video. When we scraped the star rating, this is what we get from the website. Now, this is not very useful information, is it? It's a string, but this isn't the kind of value that we would use anywhere, right? In rating. It would make more sense if we had some kind of numeric value from 1 to 5. So let me show you how we can apply processing within the pipeline to convert this value into an appropriate numerical number. Because we have this string over here, okay, which tells us whether it's 1, 2, or 3, right? So what I'm going to do is rating is equal to item rating. Okay, we'll get the rating. Then I'm going to perform some splitting on it. If rating dot split, I'm going to split it across the space. Okay, see, this is a space. The split function will return a list. It's going to return this and this. Okay, it's going to split them across this. And you know what? Let me just print it out. Okay, print out rating dot split, just so that you guys can see for yourselves what's going on. And one interesting thing that I'll do, hold on, let me see if I have it from a previous tutorial of mine. There's a setting I used to use. Nope, it's not here. Ah, here it is. Right. Okay, I want to show you something. We can disable all of that extra stuff because there was so much output. I just want to disable that right now because it's really messing up our system. We can barely see the pipeline output. So just watch. There, see, I disabled the output by using this line. Okay, now we can clearly see the stuff from the pipeline. See, looks a lot better now, right? So what I'll do now is, this is a list. The first contains a star rating. We're not concerned with that. We're concerned with the second element. Okay, so I'll do if rating, then the second element, if it's equal to 1, then item rating is equal to 1, or let's just make it a string. Okay, now we're going to duplicate this. Okay, and this should be elif. All right, elif, elif, and elif. And then this should be 2, this should be 3. It's kind of simplistic the way I'm doing it, but I can't really think of a better way. Isn't this? It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. All right, 4, 5, there. Okay, now what we're gonna do, and then this item gets returned. All right, so let me come back here and let me delete the old output file and create a new one. And now we should see a numeric value instead of that string. There we go. See, perfect. That's what we have now. A lot better now, right? So another thing that we could also perform processing on is the price. Like if you don't want it to be in, euros, or is that pound? I don't know. But if you want it to be in USD, for example, you could apply a conversion in the pipeline and then convert it to something else. Okay, so it wouldn't be in USD. These are just examples of what you can do in the pipeline. All right. Now, what should we discuss next? Well, we're done with the main concepts more or less. Now there's some interesting settings and other security features that we're going to discuss. First and foremost is what I consider very important, the user agent. All right. The user agent is basically something that gets sent to the website, to any website that you connect to. It contains valuable information about who you are, about your browser, about your operating system, about what technology you're using to connect to that website. Now, the thing is that you can easily get banned or blocked from websites. There are many things that can get you banned, okay? Like there are many obvious signs in the behavior of your spider, in the headers of your request, in the user agent, in the IPs that you're using. These are all signs that a website can use to determine their security system, at least their firewall. It can use all these things to determine whether you're a bot or not, and it may block you if they want to. Okay, if they feel like their data is sensitive and they don't want you scraping it, then they might block you. Okay, so the user agent is one of these things that very obviously tells the website that you're a bot. Let me show you how and how to resolve this. Here I'm going to print out some information. I'm going to print out the headers. Okay, headers are basically information that is stored within the request object. The request object is basically the request that you make to the website. So over here, I'm going to print out the headers and show you something rather interesting. Okay, let me just run this command. And where is it? It has to be here somewhere. That's weird. The headers should be printed out. Oh wait, I didn't save this. That's why. Okay. Now let's do this again. And this time it should print out the headers. The user agent is actually within the headers. That's what I want to show you. Here it is. See, this is the header. And the user agent is right here. And what can you see here? What do you notice? It says that it's a Scrapy bot. Okay. Now this is an obvious sign that you're a bot. Obviously, Scrapy is not going to be a human, right? It's not going to be a human accessing that website. And what websites want is an actual human, not a bot. So they're going to block you. So how do we resolve this problem? Let me show you how. Let's just remove that. Okay. To resolve this, just paste in this function into your code. And here is the user agent. We can basically pass in our custom headers to the requests object. Scrapy will automatically call this function, all right, and it'll send this request with these headers. Now this is a user agent. This is a very simplified user agent. Uh, they actually look a lot more complicated. They don't look like this. Actually, there's a lot more information. There's like information about the Windows operating system, and then Chrome, the Chrome browser version, a whole bunch of information. This is a again, a very simplified one. Let me go find a real one actually. Okay, so I'm back. Here is one. This is, as you can see, quite long. This is what one actually looks like. Mozilla, that's the version, Windows, the version number, then Chrome and its version number, Safari and its version number, etc. So now if I run this code, the user agent will show as this. And basically the website is now going to think that we're actually someone accessing this through an actual browser. Okay, so this is just one of the many things that you can do to increase your level of stealth and remain undetected as much as possible. Okay, and where is it? Has to be here somewhere, right? Oh wait, that's because I removed the print over here. Print response dot request dot headers. Okay, whoops, was not supposed to do that. Now let's do this again. And there are our headers. Wait, oof. Here. It's quite big. This is the header. See? The user agent, sorry. Now, this is basically how we can use the user agents. There are a few other things that we can do, settings and stuff. And there's one more thing I'll just tell you right now. I'm not going to cover it in this video because it's a kind of annoying topic to cover, and I made a separate video on that. Rotating proxies. It's very similar to the user agent concept. Basically, they can detect that you're sending hundreds of requests in a very short period of time. Like within a few seconds, you're sending 1,000 requests for different pages. And that looks odd, right? And it's all coming from one IP. So what you can do is use multiple IPs instead, like send 10 requests from one IP, send 10 from another, etc., 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 like that. So I'll leave a link to that video in the description below, so you can go check that video out. For now, though, there's just some other settings that I want to discuss, okay? And I almost forgot to mention that this is all kind of useless for this website because this is a scraping website, okay? You are meant to scrape on it. So obviously it's not gonna ban you. Or at least not unless you do something extremely stupid. Like try and, DDoS it or something with so many requests or something like that. So it's not really gonna do anything to you. But other websites will. Like you try and scrape Amazon without, being all proper and all that. And by the way, you might think that it's completely illegal to be scraping and stuff, but it's more of a gray area. Okay, you need to be respectful when scraping, and that's what my next, what I'm about to tell you, that's what it's about. Right now, our Scrapy spider is just sending requests as fast as possible. It's just like brute forcing itself in. All right, what we should do, what is considered polite for the website and also for you in the long run, is to introduce a bunch of settings like this, like auto throttle. Okay, auto throttle, no, like this. Auto throttle enabled, and I think this is, yeah, all right. Auto throttle is equal to true. Now, what auto throttle is a setting that automatically, this is done by Scrapy, by the way. Scrapy will automatically adjust the speed of your spider. If the website traffic is low, then Scrapy will send requests faster. If the website is currently busy, there's a lot of traffic on it, then it's gonna slow itself out, slow itself down, basically. So this is a way of being respectful to the website that you're scraping. And if you don't screw around with the website, if you don't overload it, then it's not gonna ban you either. Okay, so it's just like a mutual thing. Don't mess around with it. Don't push it beyond. Don't push its boundaries, and it won't ban you. Hopefully. Another very similar and powerful setting is download delay. this basically puts a delay between your requests. By default, this is 0, which means that Scrapy will send them back to back. It'll make one request, and when that's complete, it'll send another one. And by the way, just so you know, Scrapy makes concurrent requests. It makes them in parallel. I think the default value is 8 concurrent requests. And the default value for this, I think, is 8 or 16, one of them. And it makes these concurrently in parallel, basically. Don't put this value too high. Again, that's bad. Keep this a bit low or on the default value. Okay, but anyways, back to download delay. Download delay creates a delay between these requests. And it's normally a good idea to keep this at least 2 or preferably 3, maybe, depending on how, important speed is to your application. So yeah, keep this at like 3. It's pretty similar to how a human, makes requests, and also it's pretty respectful to the website that you're scraping. It balances out the load over a period of time, so you're not very likely to overload the website, especially if you have both of these options enabled. Okay, now I think we've covered quite a few things in this these two videos, this video and the one before it. I'm just going to stop the video right here. There are some other minor things that we have not discussed, and some other minor things that I will make videos on in the future as well, that I have not discussed anywhere yet. So do subscribe to the channel, right, so that you can stay notified for these future this future content. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I hope you guys learned how to properly scrape a website in today's video, and I really hope you guys found this informative. All right, hope to see you guys in a future video of mine. Later.